Hi there, Magic players. Barry White here on behalf of MagicKids.org. Pretty much the coolest Magic the Gathering oriented nonprofit that at least I am aware of. And with me is Jason Egginton and Kelly Strant of Magic Kids. And we got something really cool coming up, gentlemen. We got MagicCon Chicago. And as I understand it, Magic Kids is going to have a pretty good presence there. Why don't we just start kicking this off? Jason, why don't you get us started here talking about Magic Kids at MagicCon Chicago?
Sure. So Magic Kids, if you don't know already, we collect Magic cards from players all over the United States, and we organize them, send it along with a curriculum that's semi-structured, and teachers apply for that online at MagicKids.org, and we send that out. So you might be wondering, why the heck do we travel all the way to Chicago to tell people that? Well, Magic players are fantastic, and we can't complete our mission without them, their awareness, and many of them are actually teachers in the classroom. So it's kind of it's shooting fish in a barrel for us. We run across a lot of people who either are teachers or no teachers.
And then so at Magic Kids, there's multiple things we want to accomplish there. Of course, we want to run into those Magic players and have them be aware of the fact, or have them pass on the information that we can send these Magic kits out all over the country for free, no strings attached. And then, of course, even a more important purpose of being there is teaching people how to play Magic the Gathering. Those that have come along with people possibly playing it in a tournament, or those that have always wanted to learn. Maybe they started playing 20 years ago and have stopped, and they want to kind of get an update of how things have changed since then. We teach everyone of all ages. They don't have to be a kid. I've taught people as young as fourth grade all the way up to 70 years old. So we love the challenge, and we'll have multiple people there this upcoming weekend, to teach anyone the game of Magic the Gathering.
Now, with this learn to play, this teaching of the game of Magic the Gathering, how is that done at the Magic Kids booth?
So I'm the education lead for Magic Kids, and just like I taught my own kids when they were in elementary school, we teach them a simpler approach to the game. We use specifically at MagicCons the product of Jumpstart. So a group of friends, a family, whoever they may be, sit down and we give them a little bit of an intro. They choose a color they want to play with, and we teach them how to play the basics. We're not so worried about all the multiple layers of wonderful detail that we have in the game, but we tell them just enough so they can walk away and continue to learn more about it on their own.
And with Jumpstart, do they get to keep the cards afterwards, or do they have to be returned back to Magic Kids?
Oh, absolutely. They get to keep the cards. They get to walk away with free product. And even more wonderful, if we have cards donated to us during that time, some of those cards can be given to those people that pass by, and so they may walk away with a stack of cards easily by Sunday.
And Kelly, you mentioned cards being donated. Jason, do you mind expanding on how people can donate cards to Magic Kids at MagicCon Chicago?
Yep. So first of all, nobody has to wait until MagicCon Chicago to donate cards. We take cards by mail, and that information's on MagicKids.org. That's actually our preferred way to receive Magic cards, because believe it or not, cards get heavy when you have tens of thousands of them. So there's only so many we can take at MagicCon Chicago. So we really encourage people to mail them. But if you have a few left over from an event, or if you have a couple hundred in your backpack weighing you down, at MagicCon Chicago, we're happy to take those. As Kelly mentioned, we repurpose them right on site, give them to newer players. Whatever we can't repurpose on site, we then bring back to our headquarters in Minnesota. But again, that's an expense of labor, time, and money for us. So we encourage people not to go too overboard, and don't want to burden themselves physically, and don't want to burden our volunteers either. So happy medium.
You mentioned volunteers, good segue. I understand you're going to have a couple special guests volunteering with Magic Kids at the Magic Kids booth during MagicCon Chicago. Can we talk about a little bit about who we might see at the booth at some point over the course of the convention?
Well, we have a few ambassadors that'll be volunteering with us this weekend. Anna Margaret is one. She's worked with us in the past. We have a level 2 judge by the name of Daniel Crabtree. He'll be helping out. He's a great volunteer, as is Anna Margaret. They're always full of energy. And then Jason, help me out.
We have several surprises, but we can mention that Beth, Queen of Cardboard, will be stopping by, as well as Giraffe and Nat. Our very own Barry White from Magic Untapped will be there.
Yes, I will.
Yep, the chef from CandyCounters.com will be there. Candy Counters makes, as you might guess, dice and counters for Magic the Gathering out of candy. So we call him Chef because he's an executive chef in Florida, and he and his son are going to be joining us at the booth as well. And a couple other surprises that we'll just leave for the event, but I don't think it'll disappoint anyone. We're right in the middle of the action in booth 1640. Which is about 20 feet by 20 feet, so plenty big. You can't really miss us. We're just south of the artist area, just south of the experiential area, right next to the family play and free play area. So we tend to have lots of cosplayers. We're really kind of becoming the center of the action, but also somehow a place where people find that they can just chill out and play Oathbreaker. Maybe play a little Jumpstart just for fun. So it's not just for new learners or lapsed players. It's also for experienced players who mainly just want kind of that casual, more relaxed environment, and maybe they can learn a little bit about our nonprofit as well.
Well, you just mentioned Oathbreaker, Jason, and I'm sorry, my cat just walked in the room, so sorry if you hear a little meowing in the background on my microphone. But you mentioned Oathbreaker, so will there be Oathbreaker at the MagiKids booth during MagicCon?
Yeah, and I'm gonna have Kelly spoil maybe an Oathbreaker or two that he's built over the last few months, and share why we do Oathbreaker.
Kelly?
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about my squirrel deck, yeah, it's my wonderful squirrel Oathbreaker deck. So one of the highlights of going to these conventions throughout the year is I touch base with artists, and they draw me squirrel tokens, which are wonderful. But so at our booth, our booth in Chicago, anyone is welcome to come over and bring their Oathbreaker deck, or maybe they don't have an Oathbreaker deck and they want to learn how to play. There will be volunteers available at the booth to teach people how to play Oathbreaker. Now, depending on numbers, our priority is going to be teaching. But if we do have people available that are not teaching others how to play, we are more than happy to teach Oathbreaker. And I'll be bringing my squirrel deck. Other volunteers will be bringing their Oathbreaker decks. So if you want to get a taste of some monstrous flying squirrels, you come my way, and we'll get you set up.
What's that meme? 15 squirrels take down Emrakul?
Every time.
You know what? I prefer enough squirrels to take out everyone in one single round, but 15 will do it. Yeah.
Well, you are a very squirrely person, Kelly.
Yeah, goodness.
Well, Kelly, Jason, as we wind this little video feature down, as we preview MagiKids at MagicCon Chicago, is there anything else you want to make sure that the people attending the convention know going in about MagiKids, so when they swing by the booth and they say hi, they're good to go?
Yeah, well, first, we'd love people to interact with our social media. Let us know you're coming. Let us know what Oathbreaker decks you're building. Let us know any information you might want about our teacher kits that we send out for free across the United States. We strive to be the most interactive, the most fun, but somehow the most inviting and laid back feature of MagicCons. That's why we partner with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro to make it a more inviting and inclusive space that feels safe for folks to relax and chat at their leisure, and almost kind of get away from maybe some of the busier hustle and bustle, because these large MagicCons can be overwhelming, and we want people to feel like they have a home. If they don't have a place to go, so to speak, and they feel most at home with us, that's what we strive to create. We'd love that. And then just as a general rule or a piece of advice, since it's so overwhelming, we encourage people to take breaks, walk outside, get a lay of the land and the surroundings in beautiful Chicagoland, And then it's okay not to play wall-to-wall basketball, so to speak. But if that's your gig, great. Encourage you to play as much Magic and get your money's worth. There's plenty to do and plenty of things to see, but at the same time, take care of yourself. Get some sleep. Drink some water so you can last the full 3 days if you're there for 3 days.
And on top of that, of course, we pride ourselves as a very inclusive group of people. So we welcome everyone to come and visit us at the booth, and we'll support you in your learning of whether it's Oathbreaker, whether it's. I have a lot of people come up to us and say, well, how can I teach my kid how to play? And we'd be happy to talk about that, give you some examples. Jumpstart is one way, but we have other ways that I teach kids in the youth in community education settings. So be happy to talk to anyone about that if they're interested in teaching their fourth grade.
We're actually working with Judge Foundry, who cranks out certified judges to be able to run smooth competitive events for Magic the Gathering. And so we're working with them on the learn to teach idea. So we find that there's many ways to teach Magic. There isn't just the MagiKids way or the one way. You know, we start with 10 basic lands and 10 vanilla creatures of one color, and we shuffle them together. And that's how we start. Is that too much mana for the experienced Magic player? Of course it is. But this is a great way that people aren't going to be short on mana to start playing their first game of Magic. And it's a great way. You don't need to go out and buy Jumpstart or really any product. Most Magic players, even newer Magic players, have a bunch of cards laying around that they would never otherwise use. So, 10 basic lands, 10 creatures is a fantastic, inexpensive way that anybody can learn Magic. And so learn to teach is another thing. Like, we don't talk about the stack. We talk about the 5 colors, what the 5 colors are like, and get people's imaginations going. And once you have people's imaginations going, we found that it's a much more effective environment for which people can kind of glom on to Magic, because we want more Magic players. We want more people to play with from all walks of life.
All right. Well, Jason, Kelly, thank you for lending some of your time today to talk about MagiKids at MagicCon Chicago up in the Windy City. That will be from Friday, February 23rd through Sunday, the 25th. Now, if you're planning on going, it is a ticketed badged event. So, make sure you do have your badge before strolling into the McCormick Center over there and near downtown Chicago. And of course, you can find out more information on that through Wizards of the Coast by searching MagicCon Chicago. And of course, as always, MagicKids.org to learn more about MagiKids. Again, Jason, Kelly, thank you very much, and we'll see you in Chicago.